I see I'm live. Hello, family. I trust you are well. It's Mashidu Mbele, the Mind Doctor, the Master Coach. Yes, last week I became a Master Coach. I received accreditation that I am a Master Life Coach and I'm also a Master Transformation Coach. So, yes, I've been working, doing a lot of work in the background just to, yes, to continue to improve and to work on my personal development so that I can add value wherever I'm planted to help those people to master their mind, to master their lives. And today's topic is how trauma impacts our lives. And lately, most of my clients that I'm receiving is people have been through so much trauma. And I'll just share what are the symptoms. And whilst you're listening to this, you might realize that you have trauma. So what do I do? So I'm a mind doctor, transformation coach, negative emotional therapy practitioner, and I'm also a neuro-linguistic practitioner, a credit repair coach. So when you come through to me, I provide you with a holistic transformation and healing. I'm also an energy healer as well. So I provide you with such services, and each client who comes, you find that their issue will develop a different program for that. And us talking about trauma is quite something which is so close to my heart as well. So I'm quite excited about that. And also, let me share as well, if you've got little ones who are between 2 to 8 year olds, the girls for now are busy with the range. So I do have Shudu designs. And as well, now you can find Shudu design at Watercrest Mall in in Inanda, so you can get that as well. So it's at Victorian Company. So coming back to the topic of today, and if you like to reach out to me, you can. I'll also share some info as well. And that is how you can reach out to me. So today's topic is how trauma impacts our lives. So the question, I had a question. One of my clients yesterday in the morning asked me, "What is trauma?" And trauma is basically an experience or event that normally causes distress, and it might cause fear in your life, and it could be a threat to your life. And mostly, even now, just having load shedding. We had load shedding earlier. Now power is back. It's just trauma on its own, and it affects us as a country as well, wherever you are listening to this in your country. So let me know where you are listening to this from if you've got load shedding. And as well, I'm live on LinkedIn. I'm also live on Facebook and on Instagram. Say hi when you're coming through. I know most people will come through later, but I had to do this. I've got a busy day and my morning has been hectic. My body's aching. I had a boot camp at the gym. Today it was all about functional work. Yes, my body says, wow, we have done the most. But I know I'll rest and recover in the evening. So that is what, and what are the causes of trauma? So it can be abuse, whether physical or emotional. It could be violence as well. It could be a natural disaster, like now, which when I said about load shedding, could be robbery or sudden loss of a loved ones. And I've seen that. I've seen clients who comes who have just lost and they don't know how to do, because one of the symptoms that you get when you've experienced trauma is you're unable to regulate your emotions. And it's an opportunity. And I'll also share as I continue with this live, it won't be long. What can you do? And it has got a lasting impact in your life, and it also impacts you even where you're working as well. And what are the symptoms? The question is, what are the symptoms? So say hi when you're listening to this, and if it's a replay, type replay so that I'm aware you listened, and also do share on your timeline. And if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, and click the button so that you can be able to be notified each time there's a new recording. So some of the symptoms that one can have is anxiety, could be depression, you're unable to sleep as well, could be nightmares or just flashback of the trauma that you have been through. And also one of the things is regulating your emotions, and you start numbing your pain either with alcohol, being too busy, sex, just doing things which you don't normally do as well, which are they look extreme and they're not beneficial to you. So I'm not saying you won't. It's when you don't do something which are bad. Those things that are also hurting you, and also something that also happens is that you don't have functional relationships. Your relationships gets affected as well, and you tend to have someone with trust issues. Is like if you don't trust yourself, how would you trust others? So if you don't trust yourself, how would you trust others? You can blame other people and say, I can't relate with them. But the question is, can you relate with yourself? So it's important that you relate with yourself. So the next, what I'm going to talk about is there are different types of trauma. So do listen, make notes, and also type maybe, and you text someone. And if you feel like you can relate with what I've just shared, is that there is acute trauma. And what is that trauma? Is like maybe in an accident, you've been involved in an accident, or it's an assault or a natural disaster. We have had a lot of natural disasters here in KZN because I'm in KZN. And the second one is chronic trauma, and that can be ongoing abuse, can be physical, can be sexual, can be emotional, because there are different types of abuse that people go through, and could be violence or being in exposure to. So that is the other one, which is more chronic. And there is the third one, which is complex trauma. It's an ongoing interpersonal trauma. It could be child abuse, whether you're being abused by your mom, by your parents, or by your caregivers, or by those who take care of you. And also with that, you find that you've got difficulty with expressing yourself. Even when you speak, you have to try and justify yourself. And whatever comes out, people get confused with who you are. Hi, we've got Nomsam, welcome. And then we've got another Nomsam. Wow, I'm lucky today. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, do share and check your friends as well. And what does chronic trauma does? It also impacts your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and you find that you cannot express yourself. You're always trying to protect yourself. Even when somebody's just saying a joke, you're protecting yourself. And also it impacts you. So this trauma you hear as I continue also impacts you in your life, whether you're running your business, whether you're working, or whether you're in a relationship. You find that people don't understand you, but they see the value. So one has to work on the mind. That is why I help you being the mind doctor, so that we remove you from these chains of being chained by this trauma in your hands, in your whole body, in your mind, and how you think. And you always think like everyone is there to attack you, and all you're just doing is just triggering. So each time you go through trauma, if you haven't dealt with, it always compounds and compounds and compounds. Hi, Ronelle. We've got Ronelle. We've got Pat all the way from Aussie. Yes, wow, this is a lovely life. And you got Conscious Chogos. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Tag your friends and just share. So far I've just covered different types of trauma and what trauma it is. And also the other one is developmental trauma, which I've suffered from as well. And most of us have suffered from. And this happened during our formative years, from the time you were conceived in the womb and throughout your development areas. Normally, I say in transformation coaching, the time you were conceived, the time you were being during childbirth, and the first 7 years, they normally shape what you're going through. And the beauty with the techniques that we do, when we do the technique, you'll be able to tell me, when did you feel the first trauma? When did you feel the first fear, the doubt? You'll be so amazed by how powerful your mind is, because we've got the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is that recorder which records everything. And it runs your conditioning, your emotions, your values, and everything about you and everything that you've been through. Another thing with trauma is that when it happens, when your mind realizes that you're not ready to deal with it, it blocks it. And you become an adult later, when you're 30 years, you remember vividly of what happened because you are ready. Something will trigger you. So if you don't heal, you'll be continuing being a wounded person, wounding, and you say the relationships are not working, only to find out you've got trauma, which because people who are so scared to tell people what we have been through at a young age. And for me, I remember when I was being born, that is what I was told. I went through a terrible trauma, being taken out of my mom through forceps. I don't know how many. You can just imagine metals getting into you. This child is crying and all that. And another thing which affects us as well and it compounds is the rejection, because immediately after they are doing that, we find that a child, like I wasn't taken to my mom's heartbeat to say, now I'm no longer in the womb. Now I'm in the world. So already it's trauma, it's negative emotions. So already from that childbirth, and you go, I used to go around around out there and just feel like I don't belong. I feel rejected, and rejection is something big to me because I was also rejected even during when my mom was pregnant because of my father denying me. So we always go through with that trauma. It doesn't mean when a child is in the womb everything is hunky dory. It's what is happening around that woman who's pregnant, because the child stores everything. And then another thing which I can just add is that throughout that pregnancy, so because my mom was rejected while still in the womb, so she went through a lot of trauma, went through a lot of fear. And when we go through a lot of fear, we release a hormone called cortisol. Google it. And when we release cortisol, it really impacts you. So for me, it impacted my respiratory organs. So I use an asthma pump, but currently I manage that because I have to exercise, do push ups, do a lot of things just to open my lungs and sinus. So you find that when you look at a child, just check if a child is sick, just try and understand what the mom went through. Then you realize, because those are just symptoms, those are just the disease because of issues that have happened. So we go through that complex trauma and you find that you cannot manage your emotions, and that developmental so is quite key. So with the coaching that I do, how I transform, help you transform your mind, because everything is in your mind. The rest is just symptom: anxiety, depression, nightmares, insomnia. They're just symptoms of you not being able to deal with the issues that you have. We also have got MSG Select. Welcome, guys. And then the other one is secondary trauma. So trauma can happen just seeing. Like now with social media, if there's an accident, people just share photos of people who have passed on, or an accident somebody's head. And I don't like fighting because I grew up in a household where there were a lot of fights, and yes, it's something that I cringe. So I don't want to see that. I cannot even see violence photos. I try. My kid says, let's watch. So it's something that is so difficult. So just doing that, it creates a secondary trauma to the person. Even the healthcare providers, the nurses, the doctors, they go through trauma. So, but they need to be able to take care of that. They need to rest and take care of themselves. So you can experience trauma through acute, chronic, developmental, and secondary as well. Could be abuse or just seeing something. So it's quite important that you address it. So the question is, what can you do? Seek professional help, build a self-care routine as well, and also read a lot of what does trauma mean, what can you do, and build a supportive network. Like if you have been abused, you're so scared because you don't trust people. So find people that you can trust, that they can provide that emotional support, educate yourself, and also consider trauma healing, and that is what I do with my clients. So I offer that. So if you know of someone who have just lost a loved one and they say they can't do it, they're starting to drink, they're starting to do things which are crazy, let them contact me. I'll just share my details as well. I'll share it after. Let them contact me. Let me help them, because you find that this person is an amazing person, but just because of that trauma happened, it just triggered some other issues that they've been through. So I see Pet says she's the same. This Pet, yeah, the same on what. Just share on that. So there are many different trauma release that you can do. Also, a person can also book an energy clearing as well. So I do energy clearing because I'm an energy healer, and that is mostly in the morning between 4 and 7 a.m. Anywhere in the world. I realize now, yeah, people are calling me from anywhere in the world. We just have to check the time zone, and then we'll be able to arrange. So do that, because energy healing can tell you where your blockage is, whether it's emotional, physical, or it's spiritual, or it's your mind as well. Because at times, because our mind creates everything, our thoughts, and you find that you're just creating. And when you have been through trauma, you just create to replay what you have been through. So it's time to take charge. And healing takes time. Healing trauma takes time, and you need to be patient, but you need to do something now. Because if you don't do it, it's going to impact your business, it's going to impact your relationships, it's going to impact your success, and you're going to rob us of your gifts and talents. So this is an opportunity to heal so that you can tap to the power that you have, because we are all powerful beings with all our unique gifts. So you need to address those issues, which are like viruses in your mind, which are impacting you because you find that the system is not working very well. So yeah, that is what I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but it was a busy day, and I just thought, let me do it today. Yeah, it has been a busy. Let me just slot it in and just share. And I believe this message was for someone. So reach out, even if you saw something, you saw a child being beaten, or you saw a sibling being beaten. Even me, I remember I grew up in Seoul because that is where I was born. Some the client said that they thought I grew up in the rural area. No, I grew up in a location, so to a shower. So just seeing that, so I was seeing a lot of abuse, and the abuse that was happening because of what was happening, and with the traumas in my family that was inflicted by your mom or your dad, and they had their own issues, and there's some healing that needs to take on. Yes, I'm wondering if things are in my mind or because of childhood experiences. Yes, mostly it's because of childhood experiences. So, normally, the first 7 years, whatever you went through, some of it, even if you're young, it just stores. So, our mind stores everything. So, send me a WhatsApp on 061 518 3208. So, it's a +27 if you're anywhere in the world, and then I'll send you a video. It's on my YouTube. It's on Understanding Your Mind. So it will start making sense. So it's called The Mind Mastery. The video is not readily available, so I'll just send you the link, because normally I share it with my clients as we start doing the work, because I teach them how the mind works, and I provide them with success mind strategies to master themselves so that they're able to stand boldly and understand, and be able to understand when the mind traps them. And that is all, because when you are able to master your mind, you can do anything in this world. You are not stupid. You are powerful beyond measure. It's just that at the moment you've got mental viruses in your mind, which could be trauma, which could be negative emotions, which are making you to be sick, anxiety, what you went, some of it you won't know what you went through. And when I do the therapies and the techniques, you go like, wow, now I understand why I do this. And some of the things you find that you have to go and have conversations with those caregivers or your parents or those you know whilst they are still alive, to start and unpacking and understanding. Because if you don't deal with it, you're going to see your kids going through the same thing. So you're going to repeat the cycle. Time to repeat the cycle, it's over. We need to prioritize and fight for a transformation. And no one can do it for you. Whether you've got issues with him, Jolo, you might find that you went, it's the trauma, and you're just showing up because you're not able, you are not trusting people. So Jolo and other things, for me, I've suffered so much. That is why I'm a coach, to help people, because I've learned what I've went through. It was so bad. And I know when I laugh about someone saying, you're lying. This, but those who know you knows what I've been through. Because now you laugh about, because you have healed, and this is the opportunity and the age to heal and be amazing people, to come up with amazing solutions. So yes, Pat, yes, I'll wait for you. So again, if you want to reach out to me, let me just type 0615183208. Yeah, so part of it, we need to heal, we need to cry. And when you heal, when you start healing and you just make peace with one, you start glowing, because you find that that trauma is stored in your body, and that is what the techniques do. Like if when we do one technique on worry or on fear, on doubt, you are able to tell me where that doubt is stored in your body, because we store everything in our bodies. So we are in our subconscious mind, which is anything within your body. So reach out if you want to get to that video, Mind Mastery. So WhatsApp me on 061 or you can send me an email at coach, let me just type, at enablersolutions.co.za. And if you are around in the country, I'm having a retreat. It's a Revitalize Yourself retreat. It's on the 15th to 17th September. It's in Bali. So book yourself and come through. And also currently I'm taking the May bookings for coaching. So do look out for that. And also the Inner Transformation Program is currently on a 25% discount. And that discount is ending on the 30th of April. So if you want to do an inner transformation, 360-degree revamp, there's an opportunity to do that. And there's a payment plan. And also, I did mention the energy clearing. It's in the mornings, 4 to 7 a.m. So do book for that. But if you've got other issues that I didn't mention, just send them a message, and then you can just tell me what is it, and then I'll be able to tell you that I can help you or not. So, but to reach out, my role is to empower you to greatness. You cannot be trapped by the viruses, the issues, the trauma that is in your mind. Help is readily available. And if I'm not your coach, go and reach out to someone that you can work with. So I prefer working with people who we can resonate, our energies resonate. And part of doing the live is to check, because there's no point booking a session and we waste each other's 1 hour. You could be getting help from someone else as well. So yes, thank you so much. Do share, tag, share on your timeline, because we all have been through trauma, and some people cannot even explain it. And I trust what I've just said start making sense. Think about it, but reach out. And one last thing, we're having the self mastery seminar masterclass. It was supposed to be Sunday. This Sunday is gonna move to the 6th of May. So do register and learn on this 2-hour masterclass. And I'm so excited. And do tell your friends about it. Thank you so much. Enjoy your long weekend. I know most of people are having a long weekend, but do enjoy. And you are loved. Remember, your creator loves you than anything. You are amazing. You're a gift. You're powerful. Bye bye.